What's up, guys? Today we're just working on some little stuff on both of my cars. Hopefully I can make this YouTube video pretty entertaining for you guys, something you guys can enjoy to watch. So here's what we're doing. Foamastectomy, maybe patch some rust holes, and figure out if this thing has an LSD, and try to diagnose I got a weird noise in the back end here. First thing I want to do is the easiest. So according to this, it's a Sport Edition, which comes with an LSD. But when you jack it up and spin one tire on one side, it spins freely, which I thought meant it was an open diff. But there's two things that could happen here. One, it is an LSD, and they just kind of suck in Miatas, which I have heard. They only kick in at like really high pressure. Or it's an open diff someone swapped in here. But this car had an LSD from factory. So I'm going to do the old-fashioned test, which is jack up the back end of the car, and then you spin one wheel. And if the other one spins the opposite direction, it's an open diff. But if they both spin the same direction, it's a limited slip. I wanted to film this on my Ray-Ban Metas, but it's like really hard to get them to film horizontal for some reason. So the noise I'm hearing is coming from this side, and it's like when I hit a bump or something, it just sounds like the shot kind of clunking back there. So we'll just see what's going on. Am I the only one that when I jack a car up, like I always just jack it all the way up, because if I need to get under there for some reason, I want to be able to get under there. But here's the rust holes I was talking about. They're not bad at all. Honestly, this side, I might just knock it all out and spray paint it, because this car's definitely going to get side skirts, and you can't see it. Get the other side off the ground. My mom put that plant in here so it didn't die in the winter, and the cats have been just tearing it. Okay, so either ChatGPT lied to me about the door code, or someone has swapped a diff into this thing, because this one's going this way, and the other one is driving forward, which means it's an open. The good news is, though, is that there's no play in these wheels, so it's not like a ball joint or anything that's making that noise. But honestly, hear that? That's the noise I've been hearing, that vibration. It sounds like it's coming from up under. Oh, it's the exhaust. Must be touching something somewhere it shouldn't be. Huh. Well, at least it's nothing major. That factory sway bar is crazy small. That's something I will also be doing to this car at some point. The rest on this side is also not as bad, so I'm literally just gonna chip anything loose out and then just wire brush it and spray paint it so it doesn't spread, because I'm not really worried about this. So, okay, so just kind of sure none of that's loose. See, that's the only rust spots is here and here, and the frame is really clean. Okay, I got anything loose nice and knocked out. It is a little bit worse than I thought. Kind of connected this, but most of this is solid. So like I said, just wire brush and paint. I've heard it just gets trapped up here, so I'm gonna take an air compressor and blow out up there as well. All right, I got it all decently wire brushed down. It smells like wet dog for some reason. Might be because it's dripping old dirty snow. Okay, to prep it for paint, I'm just gonna spray it with some alcohol, and then I think set it on fire. It's probably the best move here to kind of dry it out. It's probably a bad idea. Yeah, it's not really that flammable, but see how it's like eating it? It kind of dries it out. All right, we got professional rust enamel and something to cover it while I rust enamel it. Look, it does have Falken tires on it, which don't do much because it doesn't have a limited slip. Okay, so the next thing I want to mess with is the foamectomy. So maybe thinking, if you fit well, why do you want to do a foamectomy? Well, I fit not great, it's okay, and I think if I could really benefit from a foamectomy. So basically, if I sound like an idiot, you don't know what a foamectomy is, we're taking a little bit of foam out of the seat to help me sit down lower. So basically, let me put it in 0.5. I do fit, and I can drive the car, and it's comfortable in driving. When you come to rest, my knees are hitting the steering wheel, and I like stock Nardi wheel. I don't want to put an aftermarket one in it. So I think if I just lower it a little bit, one, my legs will clear, and two, I think I'll be able to put my sun visor back on and still see. All right, we've got two 14s in the back and two in the front. Okay, so I was kind of bummed because I took out my NA seat and I saw that plug, but then I did research and it's actually just for the seatbelt light, and the other seats have airbags, which I don't really like, so I'm not bummed anymore. All right, so like I said, basically the foamectomy gonna take the seat cover off, take some of the hog rings out is what they call them, and then basically cut the butt foam out of there. So let's get the seat rails off and the hog rings. All right, with the seat rails out, I'm gonna go ahead and clip all these hog rings, and I'll come back when we get to fold the seat up. I got all the little rings cut. Best flavor Monsters dropped in a while. All right, let's flip this thing around. Pull this up. Nice. All right, with all it peeled back, there is our butt rest. So basically all we're doing is cutting this hump off. So I'm gonna cut this hump off, throw it in the car, and basically see if it makes a difference. I'm not gonna do the back mod because I think I sit far enough back. I don't think that's gonna help anything, but also I'm scared I'm gonna mess up the lumbar support and not cut it well. I got our kitchen knife. Okay, so I cut most of the foam out and it didn't distort the shape of the seat. And I can already tell it's a little bit squishier in there, which means I'll sit a little bit deeper. So hopefully this helps. I'm just gonna throw some zip ties back in place of the hog rings, put it in the car, see what happens. All right, all the zip ties are in. Now I just need to cut them at the sharpest angle possible, just so someone cuts them on them. But seriously, this is like my favorite tool ever for this. I don't know what it's technically called. I call it a zip tie gun, but you literally just pull it, it tightens up the zip tie. And this one's kind of worn out, so it doesn't work the best, but it cuts them flush to where you're not gonna cut your hand. All right, let's put the seat rails back. Very surprised I actually remembered to do the other half of the snap thing. I'm gonna just spray some PB Blaster on these, just because they're a little bit rough. My can is very broken, so I'm gonna do this off camera because I just kind of have to poke it with a pick. My iPhone 11 was dying on me. But okay, let's put the seat back in the car. But first, I'm gonna vacuum underneath the carpet. You know, it's not that bad. All right, the good news is you can't tell a difference, which means if it didn't help anything, it didn't hurt anything. I'll be honest, it may be, it is a little bit better because I can sit like this without, and there's clearance here. So it is a little bit better. And I can see a little bit better as well. That's eye level for me. So I deleted my cat for the custom exhaust, and now I have a check engine light, which means I don't really care what else is gonna cause a check engine light because I'm not gonna try to fix it until I get a standalone. So maybe we'll delete the EVAP. See how that goes. Now I was gonna delete the EGR too, but I've heard that can make it run a little weird, and honestly, the pipe's tucked, so it's not gonna help with engine bay aesthetics at all. I'll tell you what really sucks is this freaking aluminum hood. Let's just, I'm not even videoing it. Okay, so I got all the stuff removed, and I'm doing some research, and it said it shouldn't cause any problems, just like this. I left this line open. I've heard you can get rid of that and then put a filter on the end of it in the back, and that's the best way to do it. But I don't feel like chasing the hard line, so I'm just gonna leave it there. Again, keeping all this stuff causes any issues, we'll just throw it back together. Did have to put a little vacuum cap down in there, which you might be able to see. It's blue. Let me get the light down there. Yeah, little vacuum cap on the intake. Put all this in the parts bin. Like I said, shouldn't cause any problems. Hopefully it doesn't. But it makes for a cleaner look. It cleans out quite a bit of space, so let's clean that up a little bit. A couple other things I'm definitely gonna do in the future, at least an aluminum coolant reservoir, and I would like to try to put the washer fluid somewhere else. Maybe if I get a new tray in here, I can make like a little aluminum one work that goes up under there. That would be nice, and you can't see it. But for now, it's just gonna stay there. It's not a bad spot. I also went ahead and pulled a plug because I was thinking about replacing them. I wanted to make sure they weren't recently done. They're not bad. Definitely use it though. I got a little bit of a gas smell on them. The good news is the valve cover does not leak into the spark plug holes, although it does leak all around. Okay, I spent some time cleaning up the bay. It's not perfect, but honestly the bay wasn't bad. It was really just dusty. So I mean it's still crowded in here, but I think it looks pretty good. And honestly this bay is not gonna get shaved because I like cruise control and washer fluid. This is my daily driver. I do want to paint the valve cover. I'm doing valve cover gasket hopefully soon. The valve cover gasket was supposed to be here yesterday. Hopefully soon. And I'll paint that and obviously reseal it, so that'll look good. Maybe a turbo right there, but still maintaining AC and everything else, so yeah, not bad. And I always keep a funnel with a rag in all my cars. Okay, so now I'm gonna attempt to fix my washer fluid, which should just be replacing this line. So let's do that. The only long enough piece I had was blue, but if it works, it works. Well, let's see if it works. Okay, let's see if it works now. 0.5. Here you go. All right. Key on. And it worked before, but it only came out of one, so we're looking for it to come out of both. Hey, that's way better. Cool. Still my favorite part about this Miata. That actually works. So cool. All right, my parts are here for the 240, so I think that's all for the Miata today. Nice. Hopefully, battery's not dead. Alright, new slip yoke. Looks the same, which is good. Let's go ahead and get that old drive shaft out. And to do this, I need to jack the back end up all the way. So I just got to get it under here so I can get it under the rocker and then go side to side all the way up. That way, I don't spill any fluid out of the tail shaft. Bumper. Yeah, bro. It's just that low. I am not excited to actually put this on. Getting the drive shaft out is no big deal. But putting this on is pain. Oh, that's so nice. All right, all that holds the drive shaft on is these 4 13s with nuts. So I just gotta take those off, pull it out. I'll come back when it's out because I don't feel like videoing this. Okay, I didn't film any of that because it was a huge pain. But this one's off. That one's on. Went ahead and greased these up with my nice grease gun. Boom and boom. All right, let's install it and see if it helps. Probably not, but you know. All right, moment of truth. I really want this car to be fixed, and if it's not, hopefully you guys can help me figure it out. I think it's that diff bushing. I'm gonna try and jack up the diff and see if that helps. Okay, so I could have sworn the noise was not coming from the diff. I really thought it was transmission, but it really looks like that diff bushing is hopping. So I'm gonna start it again, let it do it, and then put pressure on this diff and see if it stops. And I think putting that pressure on that bushing should fix it. Obviously not a real fix, just so we know if that's the problem. All right, start her up. Okay, for some reason you can't see it on video, but that bushing is freaking hopping. I don't know how I never noticed it before. My whole diagnostic process, I don't know if you know, but I literally pulled the entire engine and trans out of this thing and put a new transmission in it and didn't fix it. And it's just a diff bushing. So I'm gonna order a cheap set of those because I want to go 350Z diff. So temporary fix, just cheap set of bushings until I can swap it to a nice one. All right, so I didn't fix it, but now I'm like 90% sure I know what it is, which is awesome news. So let's put this car up and wait for new bushings. Anyways, that's probably going to be the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything else you think might be a problem or anything I should do to either of my cars. Yeah, hope you liked the video.